I don't really know much about the Democrats, but they're obviously not a party for the people, based on what I've learned about them through observation. I've listened to a few of this year's debates, and like most other people, I say they were a disgraceful demonstration. The thing is, politics itself is nothing more than a popularity contest, which is a bigger disgrace. Just how these candidates scramble to dig dirt up on each other and to try shutting good ideas down due to wealthy agendas at the expense of the people, while the actual purpose of politics should be to focus on economic management and social stability. What's actually worse is, the Democratic debates are mainly to get Donald Trump out of office, not realizing that Donald has lots of supporters who are cultish in their loyalty to him. The fact that political debates have sunk to the low of being a strategy to dethrone a president just voids politics completely. Obviously, that's what the debates would be about in this sham of a political system, where it's all about power, not who has the best proposals and policies for the people, the economy, and the environment, and who would be the best at conducting them. Of course, if the political system was always about the country's economy and people, it wouldn't be a matter of who has better repair proposals and policies, but who has good ideas to improve the nation and move forward. Aside from being Canadian, I personally don't identify as a leftist. I wouldn't even call myself an independent because I'm concerned with society, the economy, and the environment. I don't have any self-interests. You conservatives are far worse than anybody, though, with your desire for minimal government, which is borderline anarchist in mentality. You people only want the government for bans on this and that, and only because such aspects of society make you uncomfortable, while most of you hide behind religion to justify your bigotries, while you want minimal government, which is hypocrisy. You only want government when it's for something you want done against other people, while you people only acknowledge the Constitution when it conveniences your petty agendas. Business, Christianity, and guns are your only priorities in America, not human life or the environment. The economy is only there to serve the politicians, while the taxpayers are expendable. This includes you, Republican voters. A comment about the conservatives' opinion about minimal government that has just come to my mind is that I don't understand the Republicans' extreme loyalty to Donald, as he has proposed to build a wall, what was originally a Muslim ban, tariffs and the free trade, etc. I've already pointed your hypocrisies out with your calling to ban gay marriage and abortion, which are fascist authoritarian moves. How is a ban going to stop homosexuality if it actually is a problem? Conservatives want business free of legislation, but everything banned that offends you, and only because it offends you. How is the wall going to prevent illegal immigrants? Shouldn't the government be interviewing those illegal immigrants to understand why they are? Even if that means sending the military to another country. If you want the wall because you want these illegals punished, you are no better than the deviant illegals or Donald. Bernie Sanders. I support this man because he proposes to socialize both healthcare and continued education, which are both human essentials, for the economic purpose of freeing America up of such extreme and overpriced expenses, enabling Americans to pursue a better life by seeking a high-paying job or career, which, in the long run, will empower the economy a huge deal, and possibly help cut crime down immensely. Yes, things will be difficult and a big struggle for many in the beginning, but that's only because America has dug itself into the divisive, inhumane, hateful, authoritarian corporate pit that it's been for a very long time. America has to climb out of this hole before the country can experience national equality and prosperity. Conservatives are against socialism, while you're the ones causing the problems, when you're the ones who keep complaining about those problems. Then you elect a businessman who has a bad record. Bernie is trying to help solve these problems. You people vote for these corrupt politicians bought by corporations and the pharmaceutical companies. And for what? Republican conservatism, along with those who call themselves Democrats, are vehemently against socialism. They argue that Bernie is trying to replace capitalism with socialism, which is nonsense because the socialist proposals are only toward healthcare and continued education. If Bernie was trying to do that, I wouldn't support him. They also argue that Bernie is trying to make them both free, which is ignorant because the idea is that they're paid for by everybody through taxes, which means they are not being made free of charge. Another argument yet is that people should just get a job. They can't afford it. This is usually toward healthcare. This is nonsense for two reasons. One, overpricing, and two, Bernie isn't trying to help people with affordability. Bernie is trying to give all Americans an equal chance. The last that I've heard, taxes are theft. No, taxes are how the government functions. Inflation is theft, along with overpricing / consumer gouging. Taxes are bad and are also theft? So what about the military and the infrastructure? If anything about taxation is theft, it's the government's irresponsible and excessive spending of the taxes. How are those Wall Street bailouts all responsible usage of those taxes? Do you people ever calculate government spending? Do any of you know what amount or rates of tax spending is necessary? No? Why not? The government is using the money you've earned to do that. Take some responsibility and keep track of the government's spending instead of voting for these psychotic politicians. How about those private prisons? Why do those exist? I would say monetary inflation is theft. Disagree? Okay, explain. Aside from that, few people have brought Bernie's other proposals up to try taking him down. While his other proposals and policies may be bad, maybe those should have been covered instead of arguing about healthcare and abolishing student debt all this time, huh? The government is using the money you've earned to do that. Bernie's supporters. I've been using the Socratic method for years now. I've never seen anybody else use this, so I can't compare myself to anybody else. Dr. Peter Boghossian has the street epistemology going. I'm interested in the psychology though, because that's the essence of most matters. I've been more focused on religious preaching, and have only recently started communicating with Bernie's opposition a few months ago, so I can't be too hard on other supporters when I criticize that they should have been questioning Bernie's opposition all this time, instead of arguing. I'll also admit that I haven't looked Bernie's profile over, so I'm unaware of his policies or other proposals. That doesn't really matter anyway, because the political system is extremely superficial and corrupt. That has always been a choice of the least evil. His opposers. Your main arguing points are 1. People just want everything for free. 2. Bernie is a communist and want to turn America into a socialist country. And 3. You often ask, who's going to pay for it? 2 words, Republicans and false Democrats. Wall Street. $1 trillion to bail Wall Street out recently, in light of the coronavirus? Where did that trillion come from? What about wars? Was every war America has fought legitimate and legal? How many of you have a sufficient knowledge of those wars? Where was Donald going to get the trillion for the infrastructure as he proposed? Why does America give both Israel and Korea billions of dollars? 2 more words, Republican. America first. Wall Street is obviously a part of America, but which is more important, the economy or the people, Republicans, and why? Addressing your fallacious arguing points. How are healthcare and continued education free if they're being funded by the government through taxes? Are healthcare and education everything? Even if Bernie is a communist, how are his proposals to fund both healthcare and continued education through taxes harmful to the people, the economy, and the environment? Why don't you want to participate in paying for healthcare and continued education with your taxes? You Trump fans credit Donald for lowering unemployment, And not only is that no excuse for everything bad he's done as president, but I'm certain Bernie's proposals would be a lot more effective than cutting taxes, free trade tariffs, and bribing car manufacturing plants to come back to America. Why aren't you interested in at least seeing what will happen? The poor. If the government dealt with social issues properly, learned about the problems in order to identify what those problems are to solve them, instead of simply creating programs which really only maintain their low financial status, they wouldn't be poor anymore. The economy. People obsessed with low prices and saving money, a low gear level of economics that can only be sustained by slave wages in sweatshops. Republican conservatism is a politically backward party and a fallacy to the system because they're mostly anti-government and don't like taxes. Maybe anti is too strong, but this party wants minimal government. The government should be the size that it needs to be, doing everything it should be doing to solve social and economic problems. Bernie Sanders. There are no friends in politics. Joe Biden is not your friend, as are nobody else among politicians. You need to stop that and start being aggressive. You can be aggressive without being dishonest or greedy, without blemishing your reputation. As a supporter, I demand you to behave how you must in order to get your ass in that White House. You are for the people, and those of us who know better will understand that you are only lowering yourself to the inhumane standard of the mafia power play that politics is. The elephant in the country. This political party is insane, not just immature. I know telling you guys to grow up isn't the proper response. I also realize that getting angry about your nonsense is pointless because you people naturally behave against other people because you're insane. There are no words to say to any of you conservatives. Wealth is the main priority of politicians, while the people just want authority so others get screwed, and so people get pleasure in seeing others get punished, even for problems that aren't their fault.